Junior Bantamweight Championship. It is the first title defense for Danny Romero. The 22-year-old Albuquerque native has had a lot of experience in the ring, a long history in boxing. Here's Al Bernstein with more.
Danny Romero's baptism into boxing began at the age of 5 as he went with his father to the Police Athletic League gym.
My dad was already training fighters at the time. Basically just tagged along and started to try to do all what the big guys and what my dad was training those guys to do.
The elder Romero molded his son and guided him through a 13-year amateur career, compiling a record of 127 wins and 5 losses. But the impressive record was not enough to earn Danny a place on the 1992 Olympic team. He was eliminated in the semifinals of the box-offs.
Not being an Olympic gold medalist or just being in the Olympics itself was a big disappointment in a lot of different ways, of where I didn't want to box no more, because that's all basically I had strive for.
With the Olympic dream unrealized, Romero turned pro in 1992 and won his first 15 fights, 13 by knockout. In May of 1994, he challenged Brian Loughnane for the NABF flyweight title, and Danny was up to the task, knocking Loughnane out in the second round and putting the division on notice. After KOing his next 7 foes, Romero faced Francisco Teodoro, the IBF flyweight champion. After a slow start, Romero bombed the champion for the last 6 rounds, knocking him down in the 12th en route to his world title. The first time in 60 years an American would hold part of the 112-pound crown.
I had worked many, many years trying to be an Olympic champion, trying to be the best boxer in the world as in the professional ranks, and winning my world title was, the ultimate satisfaction.
5 months later, Romero's good fortune would change, suffering a broken eye socket in the first round of a non-title fight with Willie Salazar. The bout would be stopped in the 7th, and the injury would put Romero's future in question.
Things they were telling me and what they were saying around me that, eye socket was broken, and hey, I could lose my sight here. I really didn't know how bad it really was.
With surgery and rehabilitation, the eye healed well. After relinquishing his title, Romero returned to the ring 5 months later to vanquish his first 2 opponents before facing champion Harold Gray in Albuquerque for the IBF Junior Bantamweight title. Romero shined in front of the hometown fans, knocking the champion down 3 times in the first round before knocking him out in the second to claim his 2nd world title. Even having claimed 2 world titles, Romero may not get the full respect he deserves in his hometown, as he shares the spotlight with fellow Albuquerquean Johnny Tapia, the WBO Junior Bantamweight champion. But Romero's not hanging around waiting for a fight with Tapia. Instead, he's staying busy and fighting quality opponents like tonight's challenger, Paulo Saucedo, who should not have a hard time finding Romero in the ring.
Coming in from round 1 to round 12, whatever he wants to stand up to, I'm going to be there and see if he can meet the same challenge.
There is Danny Romero, his ring idol Roberto Duran, and Al, he starts quick.
He does indeed. He is one of the fastest starters in boxing. Reminds you a little bit of Tommy Hearns in the days when he was coming out and getting to people early in the match.
All right, let's take a look at report cards. Not the ones from Al and I, but the ones that we asked the boxers to give themselves based on A, B, C, D, or even an F, which we've never seen a boxer give themselves. No. Let's start with Danny Romero, the 22-year-old champion out of Albuquerque. And Danny's report card was actually given to us by his father. I figure out the GPA, and it's a 3.25. That's a B+, but he honestly gives himself a C as far as footwork's concerned.
I think that is interesting, and in reality, it might be a little bit too low there. He's not real quick on his feet, but he knows how to cut the ring off, and he knows how to get that done.
All right, what about Paulo Saucedo, the challenger tonight? He took this fight on 3 weeks' notice.
He did indeed. He's a young man who has a lot more talent than some people might indicate, and even than his 12-2 record might indicate. Now, interestingly, he gives himself a low mark on the jab, and you need that to keep Romero off him. Now, for chin, you see the label. He is a guy who might have a problem early in this bout, but later in it, he thinks he has a very good chin.
Well, I give him a grade point average of 2.89. That's a B-. So both of the boxers are passing quite well. We are set for tonight's main event. To the ring announcer we go, and Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do welcome you to the beautiful Fantasy Springs Casino here on the reservation of the Cabazon Band of Mission Indians, as it is time for our featured attraction of the evening, brought to you by Cedric Kushner Promotions, along with Budweiser, the undisputed king of beers. This bout is sanctioned by the International Boxing Federation, the President Robert Lee Sr., Supervisor at ringside Jimmy Rondo, along with the California State Athletic Commission. The Chairman is William Eastman, Vice Chairman Willie Buchanan, Executive Director Richard DeCure. Physicians at ringside, Dr. Robert Carnes, Dr. Howard Baer. Timekeeper at the bell is Mike Millsap. Our judges scoring this bout from ringside, Fritz Werner, Lou Moretz, and Paul Weitzel. Introducing to you our referee in charge of this bout, we have Robert Bird. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening, the IBF Junior Bantamweight Championship of the World, scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first the challenger on my left, fighting out of the blue corner. Entering the ring wearing white trunks with black trim, fighting out of Houston, Texas, by way of San Luis Potosí, Mexico. He weighed in at the junior bantamweight limit of 115 pounds. His record includes 12 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, with 4 wins coming by way of knockout. Currently, he is the NABF Super Flyweight Champion. Tonight, challenging for the world title, introducing Hipolito Polo Saucedo. And his opponent across the ring on my right, presenting the defending world champion, fighting out of the red corner, wearing gold trunks with red trim, hailing from his hometown of Albuquerque, New Mexico. He weighed in the same as his opponent, 115 pounds. His outstanding record includes 28 wins, only 1 defeat, with 25 big wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the defending IBF Junior Bantamweight Champion of the World, Danny Romero. Once again, our referee in charge, Robert Bird, now to give instructions.
Let's take a look at the rules as governed by the IBF for tonight's championship fight. No standing 8 count, 10-point must system. 3 judges score the fight. No 3 knockdown rule. Fighter may not be saved by the bell in any round. The referee and doctor have the authority to stop the fight. Here are the AutoZone keys to victory.
Well, for Romero, the early power is important. He has a great double left hook. For Saucedo, he must get through those early rounds, and he's worried about this. He's been knocked down twice early in bouts. He's got to back Romero up. If you do not back Danny Romero up, you don't beat him.
Danny Romero with 25 career knockouts. He has 10 first-round knockouts in his career. Saucedo only with 4 career knockouts, 2 in the first round. The last one came back on April the 26th of 1987. That's 9 years, 6 months, and 1 week ago.
Long time ago.
Well, we should tell you that Saucedo had a layoff of 7 years and 2 months. He turned pro at the age of 16 because of problems of eligibility as an amateur. He was stopped on cuts by Ray Medell in his pro debut. He fired his manager and was off for 18 months. In March of '87, he returned. He went 4-0 against good opponents, but he also works as a carpet layer, and he made more money laying carpet than laying out opponents, so he retired. In 1994, he was training boxers at the Salvation Army Boys Club and Youth Center in Houston. He started sparring against amateurs. He decided to come back, and he has done it quite impressively.
And in his last 4 bouts, it's very important to note, he has won all 4 and beat Cecilio Espino, who is the #1 ranked contender in the WBC, and did it on 2 weeks' notice. So he's a very viable opponent in here for Danny Romero.
He trained at Jesse Reed's Westminster Gym in Fountain Valley, California, working with good friend Orlando Canizales.
Of course, was one of the great bantamweight champions of the world.
Romero in the gold trunks, Saucedo in the white and black, and you see the body attack of Danny Romero.
Danny Romero throws every punch, as my old friend Gil Clancy would say, with bad intentions. Even his body shots, they're designed to get you out of there. He wants to hurt you badly with those shots.
Well, his ring idol, Roberto Duran, and the young Duran was the same way. No messing around.
Saucedo very aware that these first 2 rounds are important. And you see he's trying to give enough movement to Romero, keep his hands up, not get caught with something early.
The hand speed as well of Romero.
Look at the way Romero cuts the ring off. He just glides to his left. He doesn't follow his opponent around. That's why he gave himself, for his dad gave him a C for footwork. I might give him a better grade because I think he's got excellent footwork. Now Saucedo needs to do this. He needs to work Romero and push him back a little and make him know he's not just going to run.
Polo Saucedo, Hipolito Saucedo with a couple of body shots.
Punch strays low from Danny Romero. We have watched Romero often here on ESPN. Of course, he had as the feature chronicled, the bad moment against Willie Salazar, the injury to the eye. But boy, he has come back so strong since then.
You and I had a chance to watch his fight in which he knocked out Harold Gray to win the IBF Junior Bantamweight Championship. Round number 1 coming to an end. Romero and Saucedo for the IBF Junior Bantamweight title. It is about 64 degrees outside here in Indio, California in the desert. It does get cool, maybe even cold at night as round number 2 gets underway. Danny Romero defending his IBF Junior Bantamweight title against Polo Saucedo.
And you know, they had a blanket on Romero in between rounds. I'm going to tell you who benefits from the cool air here. Saucedo does, because guess what? Romero has started slower than normal. And I don't know, but that the coolness didn't help Saucedo in that sense.
Numbers in round 1, Al.
Well, Danny Romero doing well, taking round 1, and I say he started slowly, and yet you see those numbers. Very good round for Romero, but guess what? He didn't hurt Saucedo in round 1, and that's really what Saucedo wanted to get through. He just wanted to make sure he get knocked out early.
Romero has 4 second-round knockouts in his career, of his 25 career knockouts. Mentioned he had 10 in the first round. Sparred 78 rounds for this fight, trained 6 weeks. His father, Danny Romero Sr., said they studied the tape closely of Saucedo. Saucedo fought on the undercard of Romero's win against Harold Gray in Albuquerque back in August.
That was the bout against Espino in which he beat the #1 contender and fought extremely well.
Romero grabbed the slice of history back in 1995 when he decisioned Francisco Teodoro. He became the first American in 63 years to win a world flyweight title.
Polo Saucedo in this second round has done an extraordinarily good job. He is throwing good combinations, keeping Romero a little bit at bay and making Danny think about defense, not allowing him to just come in and whack away. See, Saucedo's not just running, he's stopping and he's punching.
Romero getting very low. Is he trying to bait Saucedo into opening himself
That's
up?
precisely what he's trying to do. He wants to land the left hook, and there he's trying to do it. But Saucedo, very clever veteran, didn't allow himself to get so wide open.
Don't let Saucedo's record of 12-2-1 fool you at the age of 29, because he had the 7-year layoff, but he obviously has skills.
He's a very good fighter. Now, there's the power of Romero. Let's see how Saucedo reacts now after getting hit with those bombs.
And Romero followed up with a right to the rib cage as well.
For his weight, Danny Romero is a huge puncher, and I mean huge. He hits as hard as anybody's going to hit. There's Saucedo. Hey, we could have a fight here tonight because he's already shaking his head.
Lucky Romero did not land flush with those punches.
Polo Saucedo came to the United States when he was 12 years old from Mexico. He shined shoes to make a living. And he said it's a dream tonight to fight for a world title.
Closing seconds of round 2 scheduled for 12. Polo Saucedo and Danny Romero.
The round in which Saucedo did very well, these were telling moments because Danny Romero was able to land a couple of pretty good shots. Saucedo was not hurt by them.
And round number 3 is underway. Polo Saucedo in the white, Danny Romero, the champion, in the gold. Romero Romero vacated his IBF flyweight title in January of this year. Numbers in round 2, Al.
You see that Saucedo getting the better of things and landing 22 power punches among those 24 to only 13 power punches landed by Romero.
Now, we have the benefit of numbers and percentages, but do you agree or disagree that when the judges watched that round, they could easily have given that round to Romero?
Conceivably, although I thought Saucedo clearly did a much better job.
Saucedo standing right there with Romero going to the body.
A very dangerous move by Saucedo, though, and he almost paid for it. He is using that left hook to the body. You never hook with a left hooker. And Danny Romero is a left hooker, and there you see evidence of it. You don't want to get in a battle of hooks with him.
Now Saucedo looks to go on the move a little bit.
The interesting thing about Romero is you never know when a bout is going to turn on his power. Because, boy, anytime he cranks up one of those hooks or straight right hands, he can get you in trouble and get you out of there.
How about the way he destroyed Harold Gray?
Oh, huge performance. Saucedo's doing some great body work. I mean, excellent body work. And that's usually Romero's strong suit, along with, of course, the hook to the head. There's so many good boxers down here in these lower weight divisions, and Saucedo shows you when you're a champion like Romero. Oh, look at those combinations.
And a right hand snap back the head of Romero.
When you're a Carbajal or a Tapia or Romero or Humberto Gonzalez, all the champions that we're used to seeing down here, they have tough battles just about every time they go out there because almost everybody in these lower weight divisions that they face are good boxers. And we've seen plenty of evidence of that here on ESPN.
Let's go.
Referee is Robert Bird, and we hit the final half minute of round 3.
Let me tell you what.
Oh, and down goes Saucedo. He went to a knee, and he'll get the mandatory 8 count.
Good work by Robert Bird. Excellent work.
He was hit with a punch and went to a knee.
Stay here. Stay here.
Tremendously good refereeing.
Now, one corner here for him when he was down.
Well, so Romero's going to lose a point.
That is also good work by Robert Bird. Even though Saucedo jumped up, it was still a good move by Robert Bird.
You hear Robert Bird explain it to Romero. We come to the end of round number 3, and we'll keep it right here. Al, that's an interesting round. Romero knocking Saucedo down, and Romero back to his corner.
Are you blind or what?
Let's take a look at the replay, Al.
We'll see it, and you can judge for yourself whether it was appropriate action entirely by Robert Bird. I thought it was when it happened. Now, there he's down. And Romero did hit him when he was down. Now, he got up because he was getting hit to try and defend himself. And I think appropriate call by Robert Bird. You look at it from another angle. There's the... Now, he's clearly down. And there's Romero hitting him while he's down.
Boy, we've seen a lot worse in boxing.
We have, but you know what? This is something referees need to get after. He's down. No, you can't hit him when his knee's on the mat. I'm not saying Romero did it to be intentionally dirty, but he did it. And Robert Bird did the right thing.
So instead of a 10-8 round for Romero, how do you score that round?
That becomes an even round. I made that an even round. Because the point was deducted and he gained a point for the knockdown. And the rest of the round was very close. In fact, you could almost have made the case for Saucedo winning that round up to that point. Now, you saw the power of Romero, though, and there's the uppercut. As we look at the punches through 3 rounds, we see that Romero with the edge, not a huge edge, but a pretty big edge. But Danny Romero's unlocked the key to this bout. He has unlocked the key, and it is the uppercut. That is what is hurting Saucedo.
And Saucedo starting to slow down quite a bit here in round 4. Ironically, Romero has never recorded a 4th round knockout with his 25 career KOs.
Saucedo needs to move a little bit more in this round so he's not going to lean in on the inside and get hit with that uppercut by Romero. That's precisely what he's doing.
after 3 rounds, your scorecard?
Well, I end up having it even because I gave 1 round to Romero, 1 to Saucedo, and the last one ends up being even because of the point being taken away, negating the knockdown.
I gave that close round 2 to Romero.
You could do that, yeah.
And I think Saucedo now is starting to feel the heavy hands of Romero because it seems like even on jabs now, he's sort of getting backed up.
And the body work of Danny Romero has been special in the last round. Both men have shown good defense, ironically. And there you saw some evidence of it, even though Saucedo threw good combinations. Romero blocking and slipping a lot of them.
Oh, good right hand by Romero, and he chops to the body. Saucedo says no.
Tell you what, though, that was a superb body shot after a right hand. This is an outstanding bout. This is a very good bout. Saucedo cannot work on the inside so much with Romero because he's getting hit with the uppercut and he's getting hurt with it.
Danny Romero defending his IBF Junior Bantamweight title for the first time.
He defended his other title once before, his flyweight title one time before he had the non-title loss to Salazar and then moved up in weight. Wow, are they banging away on the inside? Both men.
Romero just missed with that right. See, I don't think the punches of Saucedo bother Romero at all as he takes a right there.
I don't know about that right hand might have hurt him. This is a superb round. I mean an excellent round of boxing.
Round number 4 coming to an end. It's scheduled for 12. Romero and Saucedo in a war.
Tomorrow on ESPN2, conference rivalries heat up. First, Minnesota looks to avenge last year's loss, but they'll have to confront Ohio State's Orlando Pace.
We saw by Danny Romero and Polo Saucedo.
Spectacular round in which Romero hurt Saucedo. I thought, then Polo Saucedo came back toward the end of the round. You see it, that right hand started things. Then Saucedo, for the first time in this match, pushed Romero backwards, and he wants to do it again.
We start round number 5. Both boxers have been in this territory 7 times, and Romero ripping off a right.
Danny Romero has power in both hands. Sometimes we forget that he has such good power in the right because he has such a good left hook.
Numbers in round 4, Al.
You see Romero with the edge, 7-punch edge in what was a spectacular round for both men. Now Romero pushing Saucedo back. And again, the uppercut was a big weapon in that instance.
You wonder how much Saucedo can take.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's starting to land as well on the inside with those uppercuts.
1 minute gone by in round number 5.
It's interesting, after Romero started landing the uppercut, Saucedo started throwing it more, and he's been landing it. Nice movement on the inside by Romero, pushing Saucedo to the left to try and throw that right hand. A lot of subtleties going on in this bout. This is not just a slugging match. This is 2 boxers who know what they're doing in there.
And they're slugging.
And, yeah, you get that also.
Chant of Polo going up here in Indio, California.
Look at the combos by both men on the inside. They're both technically almost perfect on the inside offensively. Saucedo goes low, and he'll draw a warning from Bird for that.
Romero missing, and he gets tagged.
He was wild with those punches and paid for it. And now there's a subtle difference here. Saucedo able to work better on the inside than he was before. Swelling around, I believe, the left eye of Romero.
Underneath the left eye.
Good body work again by Romero. Both men have gone downstairs well. Is there any title defense that's easy in the flyweight or super flyweight or junior flyweight division? It seems like no one can defend their title and have it be easy.
Romero nearly strayed south of the border again with a shot to the body.
The defense of both these men is better than you might suspect from watching this bout. Both are slipping and blocking a lot of punches. And that's remarkable considering how many are being thrown. And Robert Byrd is doing a great job of refereeing this bout.
Good combination from Romero. We come to the end of round 5. Saucedo and Romero in a war.
Did you know you can register your car by phone?
Yep, just the right stuff.
In the last round, on the inside, both men doing good work, but Saucedo not giving up too much to Danny Romero.
Round number 6 is underway in the scheduled 12-round bout for Romero's IBF Junior Bantamweight Championship. Bob Papa along with Al Bernstein. Hope you're enjoying ESPN's Championship Boxing. Earlier, Lou Savary stopped Buster Mathis Jr. at 252 of round number 7 to win the USBA heavyweight title, and this one has been a war.
Danny Romero doing a very smart thing now. Going back to the jab, which is a punch that he avoided using for a couple of rounds. And look how he's landing it. And look how it's keeping Saucedo from getting his offensive attack going. If they told him to do that in the corner and we didn't listen to hear, very good advice to Danny Romero. Because guess what? On the inside, Saucedo's starting to get some work done.
In round 5, the numbers, please.
Romero with a slight edge of 6-punch edge, but I'll tell you what, this is becoming a very interesting and even fight.
And that's like round 2, where you thought Saucedo won. I thought Romero. Very similar numbers. It'll be interesting to see how the judges see it.
This is not going to be an easy bout to judge. There's so much action going on. And remember, the knockdown by Romero a couple of rounds ago, but the point being deducted from him for hitting Saucedo when he was down. Saucedo told us it was so important to get through those first couple of rounds, and he thought if he could get Romero into these later rounds, that would be his time. His trainer Dwight Pratchett saying the same, and now he's showing us that may be true.
Yeah, he turned him, and look at the little hop step from Polo.
And a lot of swelling under the left eye of Romero. Polo Saucedo better be careful, though. You do not want to get careless against Danny Romero. I don't care what round it is or how much you've done.
Romero has 3 6th-round knockouts in his career. Wow, that's a heavy-handed right. Doesn't look like Romero's lost any zip off the old fastball when it comes to punching speed.
Still throwing big punches, but he's getting hit a lot more here now than he was early in the bout. And Polo Saucedo has really picked up the beat here. I mean, he is boxing extremely well. Slipping punches and throwing better combinations than Romero now.
The only thing missing from Saucedo's arsenal is power.
And I think he's gotten Romero's attention 2 or 3 times. And when you get Romero to go backwards, which he has done on 2 or 3 occasions, you have won half the battle against Danny, because he is a guy that comes forward and likes to power punch.
For us, these rounds seem like a minute because they're so entertaining. We come to the end of round number 6, the midway point on ESPN's Championship Boxing.
28-year-old Polo Saucedo knows that he's got it going, and for a moment he said, yes, I can win a championship. Let's see if he can.
Round number 7 is underway, and Saucedo, who fights out of Houston, has won the support of the crowd here in Indio, California. Chants of Polo, Polo.
And, you know, they said to Danny Romero, his dad said, don't stand right in front of him. Give him a little lateral movement. That's not what Danny Romero normally does. He normally comes forward and gets after you. Those are the jabs through round 6. Now, I mentioned that Romero had been throwing the jab a little better in the last round. Not landing a big percentage, but with an edge. But this bout is turning on power punches. Romero reaching with that right hand, that uppercut. That's the first time that we've seen that from him.
Al, your scorecard through 6.
I've got Saucedo now edging ahead, 58-57. Now remember, Danny Romero is champion. Danny Romero is a well-known figure.
Oh, that was a low blow. That's a second warning, and let's see if they give him another point.
That was really low. They should be able to give Saucedo up to 5 minutes to...
Now, Robert Byrd has been outstanding as referee.
Stay here.
And a point is being taken away from Romero. That punch came from South America. Forget about south of the border.
This is the second point that has been taken away from Romero in this bout. Now, you say you saw a warning for low blows before Romero. Okay, and I agree with you. There was one.
You ready?
We'll take a look at it. There's the replay.
Very low, and oh my, that was an uppercut right in the worst spot. And the uppercuts when they're low blows obviously hurt more.
All right, Robert Byrd, who has been spectacular as the referee, says begin.
Now, of course, some would disagree with you. They would look at him and say he's been too involved in this bout, but I don't think so.
Oh, what a right hand by Romero.
Well, Danny Romero knows that he's got some problems in this bout. On top of the low blow, the point being deducted before for hitting when Saucedo was down, and the fact that Saucedo has come back in this bout.
Another chopping right.
Danny Romero now starting to throw good power punches and landing. Saucedo with a mean look on his face. But it's Romero doing the good work here. Romero, by the way, showing you that he's more than a one-dimensional fighter. He is a good boxer, and you see the good movement from him and the work from the outside. He's capable of that.
But he has not been backing Saucedo up with punches that Romero finishes other people with.
Good right hand. Oh, my. There's an example of what you just said, Bob. That's the kind of left hook that has been hurting people and knocking them down. Saucedo didn't go. But you know what Romero's doing? He's making this an even round by winning it because of that point being deducted, because Romero has dominated this round.
Good point. Saucedo saying bring on more. We are in round number 7. Another good right from Romero.
Superb round by Danny Romero. From his standpoint, it's a shame he threw that low blow. He'd be winning this round in a huge way.
Robert Byrd saying keep the head up. We'll keep it right here. ESPN's Championship Boxing, and he buckled the knees of Saucedo with a punch that came after the bell, Al.
You're only watching one guy.
He hit him after the bell.
Well, and the punch may have been in motion. It's hard to tell, but right at the bell or after it is when Saucedo, you see him, got nailed and hurt with a big right hand. That's Dwight Pratchett leaning and talking.
Take a look at some of the earlier action in round 7 now.
This is Saucedo saying, no, you didn't hurt me. But in the meantime, he's getting hit by Danny Romero.
Now let's listen to the end of the round. That was well after the bell.
Definitely was.
That punch was not in motion before the bell. You heard it right there.
You're correct. It was not. Romero got one in. He snuck one in, and Robert Byrd did not take a point away. And, of course, he had already taken points away from Romero.
We begin round number 8. Scheduled for 12. Danny Romero in the first defense of his IBF Junior Bantamweight Championship against Paulo Saucedo. Punches in 7 now.
You see Romero, and so many of those were big power shots. 23 of those 35 landed by Romero were power shots. Remember, the first part of the round, he started out by using the jab effectively.
Clubbing left by Romero.
Danny Romero is doing something different in the last couple of rounds. More foot movement, throwing combinations for the outside, and he is landing. Now they bang heads together. Now, Romero's people were concerned about Saucedo. They said he uses his head a lot and butts. Well, we really haven't seen that much evidence of it. Most of the clashes of heads, I think, have been by accident.
Keep in mind, Romero has had 2 points deducted. 1 for a low blow in the last round, and 1 for hitting Saucedo when Saucedo went to a knee. That was back in round number 3.
Romero's landing big power punches, and I think he is really getting Saucedo's attention. Interestingly, it's on the outside that Saucedo has the problems. He was doing better on the inside, but can't get in there.
Al, I wonder how much of an effect that late punch after the bell to end round number 7 had on Saucedo.
Well, I think it had a huge effect, Bob, and he was hurt before that.
Because his right leg buckled.
Give Danny Romero lots of credit. He had to change his game plan a bit. He had to stay on the outside, move a little more, and land combinations, and that's what he's done. Look how actually Saucedo is better off and safer when he's on the inside.
Don't forget, coming up at the top of the hour, Linda Cohen and Brett Haber will be along with SportsCenter, the opening night of the 50th NBA season. All the NFL news, and they'll get you set for college football tomorrow. Big triple header on ESPN. That's SportsCenter with Linda Cohen and Brett Haber coming up after ESPN's championship boxing.
Romero has been so much busier than Saucedo in this round. Paulo Saucedo has really slowed his punches in the last round or two. Between the low blow, getting hurt in the last round, there has not been much offensively coming from him. Only 23 punches thrown by Saucedo in this round so far, so not very many.
Final 25 seconds of round number 8.
The body work of Romero, superb as well.
Another right hand from Romero.
That hurt him.
Fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round, and will Saucedo make it to the end of round 8? Big round 7 for Romero.
I never been
Doors tonight. Bob Papa along with Al Bernstein on ESPN's Championship Boxing. The temperature's about 64 degrees, but the action hot in the ring as we take you to Danny Romero's corner. See the blanket to keep him warm. And we begin round number 9. Romero has had 2 points deducted in this fight. 1 for a low blow and 1 for hitting Saucedo when he knocked him down in round number 3. Saucedo went to a knee and Romero hit him.
Danny Romero did a remarkable thing about 2 or 3 rounds ago. He shifted his attack at the behest of his father, and it turned out to be a very good move. They said, let's move a little more laterally, let's stay on the outside and see if we can put combinations together. It all started with the jab, and Romero's done a remarkable job of doing that and has hurt Saucedo with a lot of those punches.
Punches in round 8. Here are the numbers.
And as you look at them, those are extraordinary. We said that Saucedo had not done much. Well, boy, he did almost nothing.
He was tagged quite often. And not to take anything away from Romero, but I think a big punch came at the end of round 7. We heard it. The bell had already sounded, and Romero just heaved a right, and it buckled the legs of Saucedo. He has not been the same since.
And when you get hit and you're relaxed, that's when it hurts you. Now, there's some blood around the right eye of Danny Romero. Seems to be off to the side, but that's something to look at.
Good left from Romero. Al, it doesn't seem like he has lost anything on his punches.
No, for a little while it looked like he was starting to lose something, but then about 3 rounds ago he just got a second wind, and boy, these are sharp punches being thrown by Danny Romero. Saucedo thought these would be his rounds, but they have not been.
Another right hand. Saucedo says no problem. If you're wondering, going past the 8th round, Romero has been there 3 times, Saucedo twice. Romero 22 years of age, Saucedo 29.
When he injured his eye, the eye socket, Danny Romero had 8 weeks of total inactivity. But boy, he has come back with a vengeance with 3 big wins since that injury, including the championship win against Gray.
And Saucedo trying to say he was hit low again. I don't know. I think that was a good punch.
That was on the borderline, and I agree with you. I think it was a legal blow.
He might be trying a Riddick bone down to try to influence the referee when he's getting hit with legitimate body shots to say they were low is what happened against the man, Andrew Galata.
That would be one viewpoint, and that one I would agree with. There is some blood, as I said, around the right eye of Romero. He's dabbing at it. I don't know if it's bothering him enough for Saucedo to get something done with it. It's been a great round for Romero. He has performed extremely well, still throwing superb combinations even here into the 9th round.
Another good combination as Al illustrates. Final 10 seconds in round number 9. Danny Romero, Paulo Saucedo. They are battling for Romero's IBF Junior Bantamweight Championship on ESPN's Championship Boxing. SportsCenter will be on the line. And Al, a possible low blow.
Well, let's take a look at that hook. That did land right on the belt line, so that you can make a case for it being low, but I don't think it was blatant, and I think Robert Byrd did the right thing by not doing anything about that. They told Saucedo, Dwight Pratchett said, you have to back him up. You're going to lose this fight unless you get him backed up right now.
And round number 10 underway, and Saucedo nodded like, yeah, and Pratchett said, you're saying yeah, but you're not doing it.
It's tough. It is tough to get Danny Romero going backwards. Romero's been going laterally and punching well, but not being pushed back. Here's Saucedo tries it.
Take a look at the punches through 9 rounds. Look at Romero.
Big edge for Romero. He has, especially in the last 3 rounds, he has really taken control of this bout. After Saucedo done some good work in the early and middle rounds.
191 more punches thrown.
Well, it's a topic Danny Romero doesn't like much to hear about, but he is, of course, one of two world champions in the same town, in the same weight division. The other is Johnny Tapia, the WBO title holder from Albuquerque. People talk all the time about them meeting. It hasn't happened. Whether it will remains to be seen, but I'll tell you what, just as a boxing fan, I'd love to see it. You watching Romero here, who I have a lot of respect for as a fighter, the same is true of Johnny Tapia. I just think it would be a mega bout, and I think everyone would like to see it.
Just enjoying watching this one. Paulo Saucedo, who took this fight on a 3 weeks notice, takes an uppercut.
And that's been an important weapon for Romero. You got to give Saucedo credit because of the short notice and what he's managed to get accomplished, but let's give kudos to Danny Romero. There were moments in this bout where he could have had some doubt. He's been forced to go a long way against a guy who has gotten a lot done against him, and Danny Romero has shown his mental and physical toughness here tonight.
Let's take a look at Al's scorecard as we hit the final 55 seconds of round 10.
I have Romero now winning by 2 points, and really the only reason he's not farther ahead is the 2 points that were deducted from him. But he has taken control of this bout. There's no question he's winning this round as well.
I do agree. So I have Romero ahead by 1 more point than you.
Saucedo finally gets an overhand right in. It's been a long time since he's been able to land that punch.
Oh, good uppercut by Romero.
Well, Paulo Saucedo said he had a good chin if he got through the first 2 rounds, and he was right, because he has taken huge shots from Romero.
He gave himself an A+, did Saucedo on the chin. I agree. We come to the end of a frantic round number 10.
Danny Romero has thrown a lot of uppercuts, not every one of them this far up, but he shows now he can land that punch from far up because Saucedo not as quick to counter.
Round number 11 underway, scheduled for 12. Danny Romero defending his IBF Junior Bantamweight crown against Paulo Saucedo. Numbers in round 10.
Romero continuing to get out there. They clash heads, and there's that swelling around the right eye of Romero. Now, they were worried about Saucedo using his head, and truthfully, in the last couple rounds, I think Paulo has been subtly trying to do that.
Both boxers have been warned. Chant of Polo again. The fans have adopted Paulo Saucedo from Houston with his effort tonight.
Well, he's the underdog, and clearly he has fought with grit and determination.
Good combination from Saucedo.
Good right hand. That's the best right hand he's landed in 3 or 4 rounds. Isn't it interesting? It's been the work on the outside for Romero that's been the best for him. Oh, huge right.
Does Danny Romero ever tire?
I'll tell you what, he has shown a lot in this match because it's been a while since he's gone the distance like this. His last few fights have ended very quickly. He's knocked people out with power. For him to be forced to go this long against a tough opponent and perform this well late in the bout is impressive.
Yeah, last time Romero went past 10 rounds, you have to go back to the fight against Tejedor back in April of '95. That went 12. Before that, it was back in '94 against Herrera.
No, it's interesting. Whenever Romero stays on the inside with Saucedo, he gets hit more. And now there's blood from the left eye of Danny Romero. And Saucedo is going after him.
Under a minute to go in round 11. You look at the two faces after this fight, you think Romero lost.
And Romero is starting to hold a little bit on the inside. Yeah, you're right, Bob. Despite the fact that Romero is definitely winning this bout, his face looks like he got the worst of it. And I'll tell you, he's getting whacked on the inside, Romero.
He's got that Arturo Gatti look.
Danny Romero should not be on the inside like this. He's making a mistake. This is not where he did his best work. He's got cuts on both eyes now, or the left eye especially.
20 seconds to go in round 11, and Saucedo rocked back and down. Second knockdown of the fight.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay.
He went down in round 3, and now in 11. Can Romero finish? You cannot be saved by the bell. There it is. Wow, what a round 11. The 12th and final round still to come on ESPN's Championship Boxing. The 12th and final round underway from Indio, California. Bob Papa along with Al Bernstein, and down goes Saucedo again. He was knocked down in round 11, in round 3, and now here in the 12th round. There is no 3 knockdown rule by the IBF. Danny Romero has one 12th round knockout in his career. He's looking for number 2.
Saucedo was so sure that if he could get Romero in these later rounds, he would be the one doing the good work. It has been the other way around. Danny Romero shown remarkable staying power. Now he's hurting Saucedo again, and the end could be near.
It started with a left. Romero teeing off, Saucedo down again, and that's it. Referee Robert Byrd, who has been fantastic tonight, stops it. You got to agree.
Absolutely. He stepped in at exactly the right moment and stopped the bout. There is no argument from Saucedo's corner. And for that, the young man, Danny Romero, give him all the credit in the world. He was tested and tested severely in this bout. He will walk out of it with a cut over his left eye, swelling in that eye. In the middle and early rounds, Polo Saucedo nailed him with some big shots. Danny Romero came back from that and a couple of infractions to win this bout.
Boy, they sure gave him an easy first title defense for his IBF junior bantamweight crown.
I don't think there are any easy defenses in it. Saucedo is ranked in the top 10 in the IBF number 9. There are no easy defenses when you're down in these weight classes. And the guy across town, Johnny Tapia from Romero, would also say that he's had a lot of tough title defenses of his WBO title.
Al, let's take a look at the first knockdown early in round number 12.
Romero on the outside, much more effective. Lands a good left hand, and there's or straight right hand, then there's the hook. A demonstration of the fact that he has power in both hands. And here is the end of the fight. It's a clubbing right hand that gets him in trouble and sends him down from the back of the head. And Robert Byrd, the referee, stepped in and with no hesitation said, "This is it. The fight is over."
Let's send it up to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 1 minute, 1 second of the 12th and final round. Our referee in charge, Robert Byrd, stops the contest. He's the winner by way of knockout and still champion, Danny Romero.
Danny Romero successfully defends his IBF Junior Bantamweight Championship as he stops Polo Saucedo in the 12th and final round. We will hear from Romero after this timeout on ESPN's Championship Boxing. ESPN's World Championship Boxing has been brought to you by the Nicoderm.
When we were doing it this way.
Bob Papa and Al Bernstein back in Indio, California. Sports Center coming up with Linda Cohn and Brett Haber in just a minute. They'll have the tip-off of the 50th NBA season. College football preview, NHL highlights, and much, much more. They may want to show some highlights of Danny Romero defending his IBF Junior Bantamweight Championship. Thrilling win over Polo Saucedo. The champion is standing by with Al.
All right, thank you, Bob. I am here with Danny Romero. Danny, first, Polo Saucedo gave you about as tough a first defense as you're going to want from anybody. He was a tough guy.
Yeah, you know, that's what we expected. We came out to do what I did, and that's I'll jab him, box him, take him into the later rounds, and just, you know, try to put him away in that fashion. Obviously, you've seen what he was there to do, and, you know, he done very well. He done very well.
Now, you were able to hit him with some good power shots early in the fight. I thought the turning point came when you actually moved outside, and you and your dad talked about a little more lateral movement.
Right.
You were better on the outside than the inside.
Right. I got to use my boxing skills and also show my power punch at the same time, so that makes me even more difficult fighter to fight. As you've seen, that's what really just threw them all off guard. I mean, I had him with any shot that I could, and, you know, it just took its time. It took to the 12th round. That's fine.
Now, during the course of it, you had a point taken away for the low blow. I believe that's what we're going to see now. You had a point taken away for the low blow here. It did land pretty low.
Yeah, well, you know, I was trying to wear him down with body shots. Obviously, I'm a body puncher. I'm going to hit some low. You know, it wasn't intentional. You know, but that's part of the game. That's part of the game.
Well, you were able to come back from that and the other point being deducted. You showed a lot of mental toughness tonight as well.
All right. You know, I showed my focus is there all the way from round 1 to round 12, bombing away as hard as it was in the beginning of the fight. And as you've seen, that's what really took over. The guy was strong. He was very strong. You know, he knew how to use his weight very well. So yeah. I just shifted, used my jab a lot. And just hit him with the punches that I wanted to hit him with, not crazy punches.
Yeah, now in the 11th round, you were able to get him down. And as we take a look, describe for us what's going on here.
It was just, I was trying to throw as many fast shots as possible, hit him with the hook on the side of the head. And, you know, the communication, all the punches just really put him down.
Now, this is a topic, I know you're not thrilled about discussing this, but the fact of the matter is you and Johnny Tapia both come from the same town. You're both very entertaining fighters. Some people have the idea that it would be nice to see you guys fight. Right. What's your latest feeling?
Like I said in the beginning of the show, if you've seen it, if his small-time promoter comes to our big-time promoter and really wants to fight, then we'll get it on.
All right, so you feel like that is something. Obviously, you're now promoted by Cedric Kushner. He's promoted by Top Rank. So there's a difference there. But do you feel like that is makeable? And I say it only because you're both two very talented fighters, and it would be interesting.
It's just like anything else. This business is not all about fighting. If we fought, we'd fight every night. It's about the right business, get paid for the right type of things and the right situations. And if the situation comes up, I'm ready for it.
All right, well, in any case, you performed extremely well this evening. Congratulations.
Thank you. Here to make many more. We're going to go on and win more world titles, make more defenses, and just prove myself in the boxing world.
Now, you told us earlier today, actually, when you chatted with us, that you might end up getting up to about 122, maybe even 126 pounds.
Right now at 115 pounds, I have a lot of trouble making that weight. So, you know, as we're going on, it's going to affect my body. So I want to go as strong as possible. So that means we have to move up. I get to eat more hamburgers, get to eat more ice creams, and get more stronger in that way. So I'm excited about that.
I can't blame you. Eating more ice cream is a good thing, especially when it doesn't hurt you.
It'll make us more stronger and punch more harder. Maybe we would have knocked out Saucedo in the first round if we would have done that.
All right. Congratulations to Danny Romero. Let's go back to Bobby.